What is up, guys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. Now obviously you have clicked on this video for a reason. We're finally doing the 12 volt install. Now I've only got today to do this, and if it doesn't get done today, it'll probably have to wait until the weekend. So let's not muck around, let's get straight into it. So just quickly, I'm going to run through a couple of 12 volt things that I'm going to be using. Now this is all pretty much going to be Victron 12 volt system. So we're going to start here with the solar charger. So we got the 7515 solar charger, we got the switch for the inverter, we got the smart shunt, and then we got the 50 amp DC-DC charger. And then over here we have the Victron 3000 watt inverter, and I'm going to be running this off the King's 200 amp lithium battery. Now I know what you guys are thinking about the King's lithium battery. You know what, like, I spent most of my money on getting all the Victron stuff. I didn't want to go Red Arc because of how expensive it is, and I've heard better things about Victron, to be honest. Not putting Red Arc down, but I think they're a bit overrated and the price is just too high for me. So I spent all my money on getting the Victron stuff, and really the King's battery, for like all the stats that it has and everything, it is worth it. Even if it only lasts like just after the warranty or whatever, I can buy another two of these for the price of like a well-known brand 200 amp lithium. So just for now, I'm going to be running the King's battery, and it seems to be good specs for what they are. And also, if you guys watch the canopy legs, if you want to know about that, is the video I made before this one. I modified some cheaper canopy legs for half the price, and in that video you might have seen that I am going to be running the King's 85 litre upright fridge. Now again, like I said with the battery, I could buy 3 of these fridges if they don't make it past, well, if they make it just past their warranty for the price of a Bushman's. So you know what, I'm just going to run with that, and not everyone can afford the top brand stuff. So yeah, let's not muck around. We're going to be starting with the wiring running from the main battery down to the canopy. So let's get into it. Little hot tip, guys, if you're doing this by yourself and you're trying to feed massive wire up through your engine bay, yellow tongue. These are so freaking handy in feeding wires through. So I'm just going to feed it down through the engine bay, tape the wire to the other end, and I should be able to pull it through. Alright, so I didn't film much of getting the wire from the main battery all the way back to the headboard of the tray. That's all done now. I had a bit of a drama with the MIDI fuse as well. The holder that I bought didn't fit the ring terminals, so I had to chop a little bit out of that, but you know, that doesn't affect anything. Just made some clearance so it shut properly. And then yeah, got the wire all the way back to the tray, and realized that I didn't buy a heavy duty Anderson plug. I only got 50 amp rated ones, so this cable is pretty big and it's not going to fit in a 50 amp rated Anderson plug. So I've got to go get one of them Savi, but we'll kick on from there. I'll get this car out of the garage to make some room, and we'll start cutting this ply for the headboard. Alright, so as you just saw, I got the carpet on, and if anyone asks me to ever do carpet again, it's going to be a no. Pain in the ass, bit more of a pain in the ass than I thought it would be. Probably because of all the checkouts around the strut brackets and everything. If it was a, you know, perfect square or rectangle, it probably would have been easier. But yeah, got it in, had to use a mallet to get it in. But you know, that thing's like not even coming out without bolts, so I'm gonna have to try and get it out, obviously, to get to the, like, all the back for the wiring and stuff. But yeah, it is jammed in there pretty tight. So yeah, that thing's not going anywhere, and hopefully I can get it back out, because I ain't taking the carpet back off to try and trim it, and I don't think that carpet's going to come off. So it was either smash it in or do it again, and I ain't doing it again. But anyway, so that's all in. Gonna head to Jaycar this afternoon, get a new Anderson plug. It is 3 o'clock now, so I really have to pack up and start my afternoon journeys. Go get the kid, come back home, do all that crap, be a dad. So yeah, anyways, I'll see you in a couple of seconds, but for me, it'll be a few days. And I'm back. So just quickly, bit of an update. The last couple of days, I've done a little bit to it, but not enough for you guys to obviously miss out on what I'm doing. So I ended up attaching the Anderson plug, 175 amp Anderson plug, to the canopy. So we've got the wire coming out there. And then I also attached, like obviously ran and attached the Anderson plug to the back of the tray. So that can be disconnected. And then over here, I got the cable just running through the weatherproof gland, and the cable's just running to here. So this one here will be running to our DC-DC charger. So now that that's done, that's kind of the most annoying part, is getting the cable from the start battery into the canopy. So I'll just quickly show you guys what the idea for today is. So another thing I did, I just made up a little carpeted board for the fridge to be bolted down to. And then obviously this is the headboard to go into the canopy. Now, this is a couple of diagrams that I have made up. So as you can see here, we got the inverter, DC-DC charger, the bus bars, the battery, pretty much all the isolation, solar controller. And this was the original one I drew up, but I've since gone to change this. But anyway, so what we're going to do is lay out what we need and where I want it on the headboard, and then start drilling the holes for the wires and everything to go through. So yeah, we're gonna start putting everything on the headboard, and hopefully this thing starts coming together. And I don't know if I'll finish it today, but hopefully tomorrow I will. So I just spent the last like 2 hours trying to lay everything out and, you know, make sure that I'm thinking about everything, including like the GPO, make sure if I have something plugged in that the fridge door isn't going to open and run into it. Even got the missus out at one point to see if she could think of anything. But yeah, so we've got it all laid out, and I'll give you a look. So obviously this side here is going to be passenger side of the canopy, and this is where the fridge will be. So I've just put, this is the fuse block for the switch, for this little switchboard. So anything that I touch here will obviously send a signal to here, and will turn the power on to whatever is connected to it. So that's going to be hidden up here, so you won't really be able to see that. It'll kind of be hidden by the fridge. And then up top here, we got the inverter controller. So that's just the on-off switch, so we don't have to go and turn the inverter on from over there. And then we got the digital display for the smart shunt, the Victron Energy smart shunt. And then just down here, we got one SIG socket, because I don't really use them anymore, but just in case I'm putting one in. And then I've got two of these just off eBay. So they've just got two USBs and one USB-C in it, and they got an on-off switch in them as well. So yeah, those two are the same. And then I go down to my GPO, and that's got its own like RCD. So the power coming from the inverter will come into this, and it's got its own breaker, so that's all good. And then yeah, again, that's the switch panel, which this wire here will be extended up to there. And then I am just going to put Anderson plug in here for the fridge to connect into, because yeah, the King's fridge actually has an Anderson plug already connected to it. So once I wire that in to this box here, that will easily connect. The fridge will easily connect into there. So, and then we come over to here, and we got the big mother and 3000 watt inverter. So this thing is massive, guys. So sticks out at about 140 mil. So it is a little bit, but you know, whatever. It is a big inverter, but it is also nice, and it's what you get when you start going to 3000 watt inverters. They generally like double in size. And then up top here, we got the 7515 smart solar controller. I don't think this will be mounted up just yet. Because I am doing that aluminium rack for the canopy, the smart solar controller won't be, well, it can be kind of positive and negative to the bus bars and stuff, but nothing will be coming in just yet. I am going to do a Anderson plug as well, which is this one down here. So this little Anderson plug will be going into the solar regulator controller as well. So if I want extra solar panel, I can plug it in there. So it still will be able to use it if I go camping before I do the aluminium platform for the canopy. So I'll just plug the spare one into here and that'll go through that, and then obviously charge the battery. And then this one here is the 50 amp DC battery charger. So all these are going to be running through these breakers. So the positive will be coming out of here, through here, and then through the board, and then up, and then into this bus bar, which will obviously be connected to the positive of the battery. So yeah, that's pretty much a run through of it all. This is the smart shunt, and this is going to be my mega fuse, so a 300 amp fuse. So if you can picture the battery being just here, positive will run through here, through the fuse, into this switch, and then from this switch, the big cable will be coming into the inverter, the positive, and then another positive running from here, into the positive bus bar, and the negative obviously comes off the battery, runs through the smart shunt. So and then the screen over there will tell me what's reading off the battery, and then the negative will be running from here to there, and then all the negatives obviously coming in through the charger and the solar regulator will come through their breakers into these like positive negative bus bars. So yeah, hope I made a tiny bit of sense for you guys with that gibberish. Still wrapping my own head around it, even though I know what I'm doing. It's still confusing trying to make sure that I'm doing everything right. So that's why you got to lay it out and picture all the wires running to each thing and make sure nothing's going to be blocking anything and nothing's going to get in the way. If you got more space, you can run your wiring behind the panels, but everything I think coming off the positives, like coming off the positive of the DC through the breaker then to the positive bus bar, it's not a very far run. So I think I'm just going to end up running the wires from there, make them look neat and tidy and symmetrical, and I think I'll be happy with that. It'll only be anything running from this side to that side over there that will be running behind the panels. So, you know, it depends. Wiring can look neat as long as you make it look neat and it doesn't look like a bird's nest. So if you can't do wiring neat and you want it to look like a bird's nest, try and at least tuck it behind your ply. Alright, so as well, I did tell you before that I did make this little floor for the fridge to be bolted or screwed down to. So this is the King's fridge. And yeah, so it's just going to be bolted here. Now I wanted to sit it in there to see how much space that we had here and make sure that everything I wanted to put here wasn't going to be in the way of the door opening. So I'm having the door open this way towards the back of the canopy, because if I had it opening, you could have it opening the other way, but then it's going to be blocking all your switches and everything, and got anything plugged in there, it's probably going to push on it, and the fridge will have to sit off the canopy wall a little bit more. So I've opted to have the door opening this way so I can still access all my stuff that's going to be plugged in and it not hit and everything. So also I think I am going to end up marine carpeting, like ply marine carpet, the whole floor. Now I wasn't gonna, I wanted it all to be bolted down. That was the idea of the Unistrut, but it is still a good idea for weight reduction if you want to do it, because it is lighter than timber. And yeah, I just did this little panel for the fridge to sit on, and I really like the look and the feel of carpet. I don't know why, it is just nice. And you know, you can get Velcro stuff once this is carpeted as well, the wall. You can get Velcro and stick it onto stuff and have like your torches and stuff sticking up there. So yeah, I think I will end up plying the whole floor. But yeah, so to finish off the day today, it is getting a little bit later in the afternoon, but to finish off the day, I'm just gonna start drilling holes and mounting all these, like all the Anderson plugs and the USB ports and stuff and the GPO. Just start cutting out holes on this side to get that ready and start measuring all this out properly, making sure it's all level and parallel off everything, and maybe start fixing them down as well and drilling the holes for where the wire needs to go through and everything. So yeah, let's get into that and we'll see what we can get done for the rest of the day. Alright, so that's going to be it for today. I'm going to come back in the morning. I did end up getting all the switch panels and everything all screwed down, the GPOs in, all the SIG sockets in there, inverter controller, the smart shunt display, and the fuse block, and the Anderson plug up top. Now, I didn't really get to this side. It is all laid out, but pretty much going to lay that all out properly, measure everything, screw it down, drill all the holes, and hopefully we'll start wiring in the morning or tomorrow sometime. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, and I am back again. So obviously it's the next day. Let's see what we can get done today. So we're going to start off by, obviously we've placed all this stuff out around, like all the DC charger, the inverter and stuff. So I've roughly placed it for where I want it. Now it's time to measure it and make sure it's all going to be level so it looks good, and we'll start running the wiring. So do a bit of a time lapse and we'll see if we can get this done. Righto, so I'm gonna end this part of the video here. Gonna have to come back on the weekend. I've spent all day on this wiring. It does take a very long time to do this, and like all my videos, filming it just takes even longer because obviously got to get it on video for everyone. So I'll quickly just run through everything that I've done today. So got all the main cables. This is the shunt, so I've got the negative coming off the shunt, which is going to the inverter. So this is rated, this is 500 amp rated, so I can run this straight off there to the negative, and then the other side is going to the bus bar or distribution bar. and then the negative will come off this side to the battery. So of everything that's going to be drawing from the battery will read through this smart shunt. And I got the positive. So the positive comes, obviously haven't put the fuse in, the positive of the battery will come to here. It'll run through this fuse into this isolator. So I put this isolator here because if I want to shut the whole system down, I can easily just switch this off. So and then I've got the positive running from there to the other positive bus bar, and then all of the stuff will be coming off these breakers like how it is. So that's the DC-DC charger. It's running through the 60 amp breaker and then to the bus bar. So, and then, yeah, got the positive running from the inverter through here, and then it'll draw straight off this fuse as well as this. So all this stuff is running off this main fuse. And I also got this other side, the inverter controller. I still got to run the wiring for that straight to the inverter, and then I have the digital reader, so that will be the data cable. There's just a data cable going from this that'll go through the canopy wall and then plug into the smart shunt. And then the wiring for this, I have ran wiring, but I am going to get an electrician to do it. Now, if you guys are getting an inverter and it doesn't have a plug on it, you need a licensed electrician to hook it up. So I have ran a decent sized cable, and I am going to just get the electrician to connect it and run some tests and make sure it's all good. And I have confirmed with him that the wire size is going to be adequate for this one GPO that I've got here. And as I have said, this GPO I got from JCar, and it's got its own RCD already in it, so I don't need to hook up anything else to it. And then down here I've got the switch panel, which is wired up to here. So this is just like another data input here. So the wire goes from here just up to here, and then I'll have my rated positive and negative that will run up through here, and then that will power all my smaller accessories. And then all of these SIG socket and the USB ports are all wired up just around the back here. So I've got all them wired up, and they just run up through into a 10 amp fuse. So yeah, I am going to call it quits for today, but again, I will see you guys in 2 seconds. And we're back again. So, as you just seen just before, I ran through what I've done. Now, through the week, I did do a couple little bits here and there, but nothing too major. It was just connecting the positive from the solar controller to the breaker. So yeah, now it's time to get the whole system, like the whole board, up against the wall. Also, I did have a problem, so I ended up having to put like Sikaflex these 10mm packers, just because, so this is where the bolts are going through here. So I had to Sikaflex these 10mm packers up everywhere, because these 6 sockets here are actually sticking out about like 50mm. So these couldn't like squish over there, but I only had 40mm from the back of the board here to pretty much like the face, like the panel of the canopy. So because of this piece of aluminium here, that's only 40mm, so I got 40mm from here to here. Now the carpet adds like a little bit extra, but not enough. So yeah, I'll put those 10mm packers around everywhere to stop these wires from being squished too much. So yeah, now that that's all done, we're on to the exciting part. We're gonna pull all the cables through that we need and bolt this thing up and start trimming wires and putting lugs on the end, and then hopefully fuses at the end of that, and we'll see what happens. I don't know if I'll get the canopy on, but yeah, we'll just do that and see where we get to. sorry for all these stop starts in the video. Had a bit of drama last time I was recording, so I went to put the canopy back on, and as I was like reversing the car in, I was getting my wife to spot me, and both of the glands each side with the main cable coming through from the main battery and the solar cable going out that was going up to the roof, both of the weather glands ended up hitting the V-brace. So I don't know what I'd done there, but somehow I got them both to hit, not just one, but both of the glands. So I had to take the car back out, re-drill the holes for the glands, and obviously seal the old ones up, run the cable through the new holes. But yeah, that was a bit of a headache and a setback. So moving on, we are now here, the canopy's on, the cables are now out of the way and connected, but I haven't got any fuses in yet, so nothing's really working, and the battery's back out. So yeah, October is a very busy month for my family, and I can't seem to get anything done. We got so many birthdays. We got like 3 kids' birthdays, and that's pretty much 3 out of 4 weekends in October. So yeah, it is now November, which is gonna explain why I got the cool moustache going. I am doing this for Movember. If you don't know what Movember is, it supports men's mental health and a bunch of other things. Now, obviously, I'm doing it to raise some money, so I'm going to try put a link down below. And if you can show your support in any way, any dollar counts. I'm not expecting everyone to, but if you really want to help out, there's a lot of struggling men out there that are going through stuff and really need some help. So any dollar counts, guys. So yeah, let's get into it, and I'll run you through some of the changes that I thought of while I've had this week during work to think about what I want to change in this. Alright, so I forget where I left last time, but pretty much got the battery tray in, and I don't think I had this negative cable running to here, so I had to go get more of that. So that stuff's 95mm square for any of you guys wondering. So it comes in here to the smart shunt, and then obviously all the negatives come off here. So the negative runs up to this bus bar, and yeah. So the thing that I wanted to change, this positive comes through here. This is going to be a 300 amp fuse, and it obviously runs to this isolator, and then from the other side the isolator runs to the inverter and then up to this positive bus bar. So I want to change this cable to a smaller one, obviously, because I don't really need this, because all of this stuff here adds up to like 150 amps. So I'm going to add another mega fuse here that's going to be 175 amp, and then it will run a smaller cable to the fuse and then up into here. The reason for that is if anything happens here with a short, it's going to take 300 amps to blow this fuse, and that is too much. Like, there's not enough amps here to blow that fuse, so it's just going to start a fire if somehow there is a short. Now, so yeah, that's the reason why I am changing it to put a fuse there. So, and then all this stuff here, like all these wires, will be fused correctly, and then this 300 amp will pretty much be just for the inverter. So yeah, we'll get started on that, and then I'll run through a couple of the other things that we're going to be doing today. Alright, there you have it. So new fuse is in there before the positive shunt, and then again I just quickly added this smaller cable. It had this massive 95mm square going from the negative shunt to the bus bar, and it was kind of messing with a little bit of OCD of mine. So because these ones here have been swapped to a smaller cable and this one was thick, I just went ahead and quickly swapped that one over to a smaller size cable as well, which is still way overrated to what it needs. So yeah, now that that's done, we'll move on to getting the solar panel mounted on my roof racks. Alright, so we got the solar panel down here on the table. Now I've just marked out, gone from center and marked out each way the brackets. So this is center of my roof rack. Now just a quick little idea. So these brackets are actually solar panel brackets. I got these from Bunnings. So they pretty much just sit like that. Obviously it's upside down there. And then this bolt here will go onto my roof rack. And you can screw through the side through those little tabs. But yeah, I just thought I'd quickly show you them. Saves using these kind of brackets or something. So I was going to use these until I found the black ones, and they are way nicer. Although these are just temporary because I'm going to do the platform for the canopy. These would have looked pretty crap. So yeah, let's get these brackets mounted to the solar panel, and then we'll get the solar panel mounted on the roof. Alright, so as you just seen, we got the solar panel mounted to the roof racks. Now, there is one more thing before we connect everything, put all the fuses in, and that is the King's 85 litre fridge. So we'll go ahead, get that mounted in, plug it in, put all the fuses in, and see what I can blow up. Alright, that is looking mint. Now, obviously I have the fridge door opening up away from the canopy wall, because if it did swing out this way, it'd be covering all the switches and everything. Now I'm hoping eventually when I do get a pantry slide and drawers for this section that it does open. I think you do have a problem with it only opening to 90 degrees, but you know, can't win them all. So pretty stoked at how this has turned out. It is very black with the velour carpet on the wall and everything, and obviously having a black canopy. Now, I am going to probably insulate the canopy because it does get very hot in here. So I might whack some foil board in the roof, and then my good neighbor next door has given me some aluminium composite panels, so I might use them to line the ceiling, the roof ceiling of the canopy and down the back wall. And it is white, so it will brighten this up a lot more. Alright, so solar panels in, fridge is in, fuses are in. Now, if I've wired this up correctly, all I have to do is turn this isolator on, and yeah, hopefully nothing blows up. So here goes. The inverter light's on. Now obviously this isn't going to turn on because the car's not on, so it's not going to charge. Well, nothing's catching fire, so that's good, I guess. Alright, well, other than the inverter, not much fun's happening over this side, so we'll come around to the other side. Alright, let's see if the inverter switch obviously works. So we'll turn the inverter off. That just turned it off. Sorry about the light, guys. It's pretty dark in here. We've got all the doors and windows open, except for the shed door, because that just makes it way too bright. So yeah, now I don't even know, I haven't put the stickers on this yet, so I don't even know what controls the light, what controls the fridge. The fridge isn't on yet. Don't know if they are. They shouldn't be because I haven't turned them on yet. But the smart shunt is lit up. The inverter switch works because that was just on. I should have turned it off first, but I know the inverter turns off and on by that. Now let's see what these control. So yeah, this one controls that side of the canopy, and this bottom right one just controls the one above me. So yeah, pretty stoked at how this turned out. So these lights up here as well, you can turn them on, these switches up here, but I just did that from down there so I don't have to go around to turn these on. We can turn them off and on via this switch panel as well as the one above me. So these lights are from Oz LED. Now they're a meter long, and obviously you can turn these on and it's just the white light, and if you press and hold them in they go brighter, and if you press and hold it in again you can dim it all the way down. Now these do have your orange lights as well, which are really nice and keeps the bugs away. So with these as well you can also dim them or make them brighter. So that's fully bright, that is as bright as they go, and then you can press and hold it in to dim them. Now I think these lights here were $100 or $110 each. Now that seems expensive, but I wanted good lights. I didn't want some cheap ones that were just going to be white lights. I wanted the amber ones, you know. I really just wanted to spend the money to get some good lighting because I didn't want to cheap out on some cheap eBay ones. So yeah, one of the last things to do as well, I got to set up this battery monitor, this digital display, to tell me what my battery life is, and also have to set up the apps on my phone. So we'll quickly run through that now. Alright, so as we jump into the Victron app, there is the device list. Now this has everything that is in my canopy, so you're able to run through, click through anything and visually see what everything's doing. So first off we'll jump into the DC charger. So yeah, as you can see, once that's connected, we can see the DC charger obviously isn't working because the car is not running. So first up there, if you want to quickly pause it, is the voltage, and then we have the current and then the power. And then the next page over is a graph, and then the next one is a little bit of history. So you can swipe through that and see what is done in the past, and then we can jump over to the trends. Alright, now next one in the list is the Phoenix inverter. Now again, this thing you have to switch on. So you can see that I've just switched it on, but obviously nothing's plugged in, so nothing is going to be drawing from the inverter, but still it tells you what the battery is doing in the voltage. So we've got 13.4 volts again. So the next one is my favorite, and that is the smart shunt. Now this one here tells you everything. We got the voltage, current, power, consumed amp hours, and time remaining. Obviously the time remaining is 1 day and 11 hours. Now that's without any charge, and that's just with what is running at the moment. Now you can see there's nothing running. It was 3 amps, it's just jumped up to 4.5 because I've just turned on the lights in the canopy, and then there you go, it's jumped up again because I turned on the other one. So it tells you everything that's drawing out of the battery as you turn it on, which is really good to know. And obviously the day and hours drop down, and again it's got a bit of history, so you can go through all the history of what it's done. And then we have the trends that I don't really care about. I only care about what's happening at the present moment when I want to look at it. So yeah, there you have it. Bit of a quick rundown on what the Victron Connect app has to offer when you connect everything to it. As you guys just saw, I did just set everything up. It is pretty easy to connect everything. You just download the app and it pretty much does everything for you, to be honest. It's so simple, like you don't need to know any settings really. Like it even picked what battery I had connected to it. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. But another thing that I wanted to show you guys that was pretty cool is this. I got this, if I haven't told you yet, from J-Car. It is the 4 switch panel. What I thought was really cool about this, as I was stuffing around putting stickers on it, it's actually got like some kind of sensor up here. So if it's daytime, it brightens it, and then if it senses that it's getting darker, it actually dims the light. So it's like got its own built-in automatic dimmer in it. See if I cover that. It goes light and dark. And also quickly, this being a black canopy, it is going to get very hot. Now I had this foil board sitting around that a mate gave me, so I quickly cut this to the biggest panel. There is like the 50mm gap here in between the door and this first bit of aluminium section, but 90% of the roof is now covered in foil board. Now that's not going to be the finished product. I am, as I said, got to put the aluminium composite panel over it, and then down the back as well. And I also installed this fire extinguisher. Now this fire extinguisher is made to do like just your standard fire, electricity, anything pretty much. So this is like an all-round fire extinguisher. Now, not that I don't trust myself with my wiring, but in case of an emergency, it's always good. You never know what can happen on the road. So it is good. It's only 20 bucks from Bunnings, and for a little bit more of peace of mind, having a fire extinguisher in your car, it's worth the money. So yeah, sorry about all the chopping and changing in this video. I really hope you guys liked it and enjoyed me doing this 12 volt setup, and hope you learnt something. If you didn't, sorry about that, but it was hard to film this one. It was definitely the hardest and longest video I've done yet. Alright, so that pretty much wraps up today's video, guys. This was pretty much the longest, hardest video to film, and electrical, I do know a bit about it, but still it was a big learning curve on some of the things, on, you know, massive wire and stuff to use. So yeah, I do appreciate you guys if you have made it this far. And if you have any questions about this or any other videos, hit me up on Instagram. So anyone that has messaged me, I do appreciate the comments in YouTube, and yeah, go for it, comment and stuff. But if you want any photos or like pictures of plans or anything, hit me up on Instagram, because I can't send photos through YouTube. But yeah, as well, once again, if you want to support Movember, link down to below. Every dollar helps. Let's help these men out there try and get through some tough times. Give it a thumbs up and hit that bell to get notified when I post these videos. Cheers, see you on the next one.